The fall air was crisp and carried with it the smell of freshly cut grass and worn-out soccer cleats. At the far end of Maplewood Park, parents were settling into their folding chairs with steaming cups of coffee, their eyes fixed on a swarm of kids darting around a soccer ball like bees after nectar. Among them sat a man on a worn-out camping stool, its faded fabric patched with duct tape. His name was Jack Turner, a single dad with the kind of tired eyes that spoke of quiet battles and long nights. His jeans were clean but old, and his coat hung loose, borrowed from a neighbor after his tour at the seams. But none of that mattered when he looked at the field and saw his son, Aiden, dribbling with joy, the boys' laughter echoing into the brisk morning like a song that still had hope. Jack didn't come for small talk or sideline gossip. Most of the other parents were too busy checking emails or swapping vacation plans. He usually sat alone. Until today. A woman approached, tall and poised, wrapped in a sleek coat and a gentle smile. She carried no phone, no latte, just a soft presence that didn't shout for attention. "Mind if I sit?" she asked, gesturing to the grass beside him. Jack shrugged politely. "Free world," he muttered with a half-smile. She sat, brushing leaves off her coat as if she didn't mind the ground at all. "My nephew's playing," she said. "Number 12. Jack nodded. "Mine's 17. Aiden. Plays his heart out." "I saw," she said warmly. "He's good. Fast on his feet." There was a pause, but it wasn't awkward. It was easy, like two puzzle pieces had accidentally clicked. "I'm Jack," he said after a moment. "Claire," she replied. "Claire Hastings." What Jack didn't know, and had no reason to suspect, was that Claire Hastings was the CEO of Hastings Tech Solutions, a Fortune 500 company with headquarters just across the river. She usually didn't attend these practices, but her sister had asked her to pick up her nephew. Claire hadn't expected to stay, let alone talk to anyone. But Jack's quiet presence had drawn her in. As the game rolled on, their small talk deepened. Jack shared that he worked part-time at a hardware store, had once been an apprentice electrician, and now did odd jobs around town. He didn't complain, though. He spoke about Aiden's love for books, how they couldn't always afford new ones but made weekly trips to the used bookstore. Claire listened intently, genuinely. She found herself laughing at Jack's dry humor and admiring how he spoke of fatherhood with such sincerity, such pride. There was no bitterness in him. Just resilience. When practice ended, Aiden ran over, his cheeks flushed and his hair messy. "Dad! Did you see that kick?" Jack ruffled his hair. "I saw. You were a rocket out there." Claire knelt down. "You play like you've got wings on your shoes," she said, making Aiden beam. That day, they parted with a simple goodbye, but something had changed. Claire thought about Jack all evening. His stories, his strength, the gentleness in his voice. There was no hint of self-pity. Just love. Purpose. The next week, she came again. And the week after that. What started as coincidence grew into habit, then something much more. They talked about books, childhoods, dreams they used to have. Jack never once asked about her job or her car or her clothes. He didn't know she was wealthy. Claire never mentioned it. She liked that with him, she wasn't a CEO. She was just Claire. One Saturday, as the kids ran laps, Claire arrived with 2 hot coffees and a blueberry muffin split into 2. "Didn't think you'd mind," she said. Jack hesitated. "Claire, why are you really sitting with me?" She blinked. "What do you mean?" I mean, I don't have much. I'm not much. You seem like someone who could be anywhere else." Her smile faltered. She looked at him and said, "Jack, you don't know this, but every week, I sit in rooms filled with polished people and empty words. With you, I don't have to pretend." Jack didn't know what to say. But in that moment, his heart opened wider than he knew it could. One evening, Claire invited Jack and Aiden for dinner. Nothing fancy, she promised. Jack hesitated, but Aiden begged. Please, Dad. Miss Claire's the coolest. When they arrived at her home, Jack's jaw tightened. Her house was no cottage, it was a modern masterpiece with marble floors and glass walls. Aiden gasped. Whoa, Dad. Claire met them at the door, sensing Jack's unease. Jack, I should have told you. I didn't want this to change anything. He gave a hollow laugh. You're rich. She nodded. Yes. But that's not why I sat next to you. Or why I kept coming back. Dinner was quiet, and though Aiden loved every bite of the wood-fired pizza and homemade brownies, Jack remained distant. Later, on her porch, Jack stood under the stars. I don't belong in your world, he said softly. You're educated, powerful, important. And I'm just, trying to keep my son fed. Claire stepped closer. You belong more than anyone I've met in that world. You have more honesty in your pinky than most have in their whole lives. Jack swallowed. You deserve someone who can give you more. I don't want more, Jack, she whispered. I want real. Weeks passed. They grew closer. Claire came to understand that love didn't care about income brackets or titles. And Jack saw that maybe, just maybe, he was worthy of something good. But one stormy Tuesday, Jack didn't show up to practice. Claire waited, worried. The next day, she went looking and found out from the store clerk that Jack had hurt his back lifting heavy shelves. No insurance. No time off. He'd lost the job. She knocked on his small apartment door. Jack opened it, surprised and embarrassed. You didn't have to come, he said. She stepped in, holding a bag of groceries. Of course I did. She helped cook, clean, and even read to Aiden. She didn't offer money. She offered presents. And that made all the difference. One night, after tucking Aiden into bed, Jack sat beside Claire on the couch, shoulders hunched. I've always tried to be enough for Aiden. But now, I wonder if I ever was. Claire touched his hand. Jack, enough isn't about what you earn. It's about who you are when life gets hard. And you're the most enough man I've ever known. He looked at her, eyes brimming. Why me? Because, she whispered, you taught me what real love looks like before I even knew I needed it. In the months that followed, Claire helped Jack get physical therapy and connected him with a nonprofit that trained adults in new trades. He earned certification as a residential electrician. He started getting steady work again. One Saturday, during Aiden's final soccer game of the season, Jack stood on the sidelines. Tall, proud, smiling. Claire stood beside him, her hand in his. After the game, Aiden ran up and hugged them both. Jack turned to Claire. You sure about this? A regular guy like me? She smiled, tears in her eyes. I didn't fall for a regular guy. I fell for a father who fought, a man who stayed kind when life wasn't, a soul who reminded me that love doesn't have a resume. And there, under the golden afternoon sky, they kissed, not a fairy tale kiss, but one born from shared burdens and found light. Later, Claire offered to invest in a small electrical repair business for Jack. At first, he refused. I want to earn this, he said. She respected that. But quietly, she helped secure a loan with fair terms through a program she funded anonymously. The business grew. Jack hired 2 other fathers from the community who had lost jobs. His motto? Fix what's broken. Build what matters. Years later, Jack would speak at a charity gala hosted by Claire's foundation. My life didn't change because someone gave me money, he said. It changed because someone believed in me when I'd stopped believing in myself. The crowd applauded. But it was the look in Claire's eyes that meant everything. She had seen him, not as poor, not as less, but as whole, and enough, and worthy of love. And he had seen her, not as powerful, not as unreachable, but as human, warm, and exactly what his heart needed.